There are several characteristics to the practice common to all Vajrayana practice. And there are three principles, you could say three aspects of the practice that we can cultivate and deepen over time. In 3 words, they're summarized, or 3 phrases: clarity, pure meaning, and pride of the deity. In terms of cultivating the clarity, just as we can cultivate deeper clarity in the simple practice, the simple but not so easy practice of simply resting the attention on the unfolding of experience. We can cultivate clarity in that. With a relaxed, vivid attention. And then the same way in the practice of Chenrezig or any other yidam, we can cultivate clarity with a relaxed and vivid attention. But where in our ordinary life we think we know what all the parts and pieces are, with the Bodhisattva Chenrezig, we actually have to learn the visualization to start out with. And here's one of the challenges in the practice, which is to balance the energy and intention of deepening the clarity and understanding and recollection of what the elements of the visualization are, and the relaxation of just relaxing with it, and relaxing with the sense of it, and relaxing with the appreciation for the qualities of Chenrezig. It's one thing that Khenpo Rinpoche mentioned in India this year, is that this is a long-term cultivation. And since if we can appreciate it as a long-term cultivation, then we can balance that relaxation with a sense of it, with the ongoing intention to have a more vivid sense of what it is that we're imagining when we imagine ourselves as Chenrezig. So we can acknowledge whatever state we're in, wherever we are in that. We can acknowledge it without harassing ourselves about our imperfections. We can also acknowledge it as a basis for some sense of how we can incrementally add to what we're cultivating there. So we can, the balance of relaxation and vividness of the presence and vividness of the details can grow over time. And I think that's an important thing to recollect, because depending on our personal predilections and our personal style of having shortcomings, we could either become so harsh with ourselves that we give up, or we could just call it all good and give up. So either way, as it goes, this is the ongoing challenge of all practice: how to maintain some some vivid intention and energy, while also maintaining a sense of the quality and the relaxation and a sense of the presence. So there's an aspect of clarity. The pure meaning, there is that's another element to cultivate over the long term. It's relatively easy to, it takes some doing, but it's relatively easy. You could get a list of the 12 aspects of the visualization and then memorize the qualities of the Bodhisattva that are associated with that aspect. It takes a little doing, but it's possible. But in order to cultivate this deeply, we have to reflect on these. So just for the sake of brevity, just the rosary, the mala, and the lotus that we're holding. The mala this is where one of the dynamic aspects of the visualization or the imagination comes in. We're holding our mala in the left hand. Chenrezig is holding mala in the right hand. And the mala is moving. Chenrezig is moving. And this is connected to the ongoing activity, the continuous activity of Chenrezig to draw beings to the Dharma, to draw beings to the practice. And so this is something to contemplate over a very long time. What does it mean to be engaged in continuous activity, to magnetize beings to the Dharma? The lotus, it's also a very long-term contemplation. It's fairly simple to recite the idea that, well, just as the lotus emerges from the mud and the muck and in filthy ponds and is pristine, so too could we as Chenrezig, so too does the Bodhisattva manifest in all situations without being drawn in to the confusion, while maintaining the pristine awareness. So as we want to deeply familiarize ourselves with the mind of the Bodhisattva, memorizing and contemplating all of these aspects of the pure meaning. Another one, the 4 arms, associated with the 4 immeasurables: loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, equanimity. These are all lifetime work to familiarize ourselves. A deeper challenge with the pure meaning, I think, is to go beyond the notion of just these as symbols and reminders, but to go deeper into the challenge of how it is that the basic being, the presence, the manifestation of being could express these qualities. So in this sense, it goes beyond the word symbol. You could say a symbol points from one thing to another thing. It reminds you of something else. But in the case of Chenrezig, Chenrezig's presence embodies the four immeasurables. Chenrezig's presence and activity is a continuous manifestation of drawing beings to the Dharma. Chenrezig's presence is this ability to be manifest in whatever situation without being stained by ignorance, without being lost in confusion. So in that sense, then the challenge is looking in ourselves, how is it that we could actively manifest those in body, speech, and mind, so that our presence would actually manifest these qualities. So there's some challenges to pure meaning. In terms of pride of the deity, this is it's funny because the word pride all of a sudden escapes the corral of things to be avoided and abandoned. Get jumped in someplace else. Now, oh, what on earth? But the sense of, but it's there. It's quite there. The word pride, if you look in the sixth realm prayer, the word pride shows up as nga gyal. It's literally I king or I royal. It's like this is not meek and mild, hiding behind something. So that quality of active presence, very powerful, is an aspect of when we see ourselves as Chenrezig. We go beyond seeing ourselves as Chenrezig. As Ringu Tulku says very clearly in one of his books, he says, this is beyond I identify with Chenrezig. In this practice, we cultivate the relaxation and vivid attention to the point that we are Chenrezig. There isn't anything left beyond Chenrezig. So there's a challenge too. So all these are kind of long-term challenges. There are many things that can be gone over, but I'll just leave it with the three of those. Both perhaps something that we can just spend a few minutes. You can pick one of the aspects of pure meaning, whether it's one aspect of the four immeasurables, or just contemplating the lotus, or the mala, the wish-fulfilling jewel, which is the resourcefulness that is able to benefit all beings in all ways. We can pick one of these and just contemplate it for a little bit, just to get some sense of how that can be engendered in our own minds, and how we could appreciate that as the spontaneous quality, the spontaneous manifestation of bodhicitta. So let's do that. It's good to do these kind of contemplations in between a formal session, so our mind doesn't become too busy while we're doing the actual practice. So let's take just a minute or two. Since you only have a minute or two, you have to really put your mind on it and really think how it is. How could my basic presence manifest these qualities? How does the Bodhisattva do this? So let's begin again. Page 11. Again, recalling as best we can the form of Chenrezig. It's the embodiment of all enlightened activity, embodiment of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. The direct example of this is present in space in front of us, radiating light, radiating the qualities and energy. Touch all beings, touch ourselves. Dissolving all confusion. So we go for refuge.
Until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the excellent assembly. Through the merit of generosity and other virtues, may I accomplish Buddhahood for the benefit of beings. Until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the excellent assembly. Through the merit of generosity and other virtues, may I accomplish Buddhahood for the benefit of beings. Until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the excellent assembly. Through the merit of generosity and other virtues, may I accomplish Buddhahood for the benefit of beings.
Relaxing for a moment again in that presence. Presence of Chenrezig. Fades into the space of mind. And on the crown of our head, and the head of all sentient beings, filling space is the lotus and moon. The tree appears instantly, radiating light to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, radiating light to all sentient beings. Light is absorbed, and Chenrezig appears upon our crown of our head, and the crown of the head of all sentient beings. Then we recite.
On the crown of myself and sentient beings, pervasive as space, is the lotus and moon seat. From the Hri appears the noble Chenrezig, clear, white, and radiating five-colored light. Smiling and gazing with compassionate eyes, the first pair of his four hands are joined together. The lower two hold a crystal mala and a white lotus. Adorned with jewels and silk, he wears a deerskin upper garment. His head ornament is Amitabha, and his two legs sit in the Vajra asana. A stainless moon supports his back. He is the embodiment and essence of all sources of refuge.
Just allow your mind to settle with that. appreciating the presence of Chenrezig, the brilliant rainbow-like quality, the radiance of deep, kind affection. The embodiment of all the qualities of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, immediately, palpably present.
Noble One,
untainted by the mire,
your form is luminous white. A perfect awakened one adorns your head. With the eyes of compassion you gaze upon beings. To Chenrezig we bow. Noble One, untainted by the mire, your form is luminous white. A perfect awakened one adorns your head. With the eyes of compassion you gaze upon beings. To Chenrezig we bow. Noble One, untainted by the mire, your form is luminous white. A perfect awakened one adorns your head. With the eyes of compassion you gaze upon beings. To Chenrezig we bow.
Page 31. And bringing that sense of the praise and the appreciation of the qualities of Chenrezig, the presence, Chenrezig, in response to our openness and our connection. In response to the energy of our appreciation, light radiates, and then as follows in the recitation.
By praying one pointedly in this manner, light radiates from the body of the Noble One and purifies impure karma, appearance, and deluded mind. The outer environment becomes the realm of Dewa Chen. The body, speech, and mind of the inhabitants become the exalted body, speech, and mind of the powerful Chenrezig. Appearance, sound, and awareness are inseparable with emptiness.
So now we can begin the mantra recitation. And perhaps as you begin, you might just let your mind pass over the various elements as well as you know them in the visualization. Recalling the presence of the root guru Chenrezig on the crown of our head, so we are Chenrezig in the presence of root teacher, embodiment of all the Buddhas. So begin refreshing your visualization by gently taking the mind through the steps of the visualization, the pieces of visualization. Om Mani Padme, 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 Om Mani Padme Continue reciting. Place your attention on the Hri and the heart. Radiating five-colored light, but primarily white color. It radiates as an offering to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Radiates as an offering to our Guru on the crown of our head. The blessings of the Enlightened Ones return in the form of all the various ornaments of Chenrezig, malas, lotuses, wish-fulfilling jewels, small forms of Chenrezig. They all dissolve into us, forms of the mantra, just like a rain dissolving into the surface of a lake. Again, light from the tree radiates. This light touches all sentient beings. Dissolving all confusion. Dissolving all anxiety. And all the beings in the form of tiny Chenrezigs dissolve into your being as Chenrezig, into the tree and the heart. You can continue with the radiating and absorbing and the offering to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Absorbing the blessings. Radiance of compassion from the tree striking all beings. Beings as Chenrezig, small forms, absorbed into the tree at the heart. Allow your mind to move through Chenrezig's form. Smiling face, forearms, the wish fulfilling jewel held at the heart. The mala. The lotus being held by the stem in the left hand. Sitting cross-legged, full lotus. Red skirt. Five jeweled crown. Jeweled earrings. 3 necklaces of gold. Bracelets of gold, anklets of gold. Feel all the presence of all sentient beings as Chenrezig, filling space. All reciting the mantra, resonance like a gentle resonance like a swarm of bees buzzing around flowers. Bring the visualization clearly to mind, and the visualization of all beings as Chenrezig. All beings as Chenrezig. The environment dissolve into brilliant light, which is absorbed into Guru Chenrezig on the crown of our head. Guru Chenrezig dissolves and form the light, dissolving into us. Dissolving our form as Chenrezig, brilliant light absorbing into the tree at our heart, and brilliant dissolves into itself. The appearance of our ordinary form, all thought and memory, our speech, the manifestation of bodhicitta, the manifestation of mind. We recite.
The apparitional bodies of myself and others are the body of the Noble One, sounds of the melody of the 6 syllables. Thought and memory are waves of great intrinsic awareness. By this virtue may I quickly accomplish the state of powerful Chenrezig and establish all beings without exception on that level.
Let's proceed with the next few pages of dedication.
Through the merit of reciting and meditating, may I and every being to whom I am connected, as soon as these impure forms are left behind, be miraculously born in Dewa Chen. Immediately then, having thoroughly traversed the 10 levels, may we benefit others with the emanations in the 10 directions. By this virtue may all beings perfect the accumulation of merit and wisdom, and arising from merit and wisdom, attain the 2 sacred bodies. Bodhicitta is precious, may it arise in whom it has not arisen. Once arisen, may it ever grow and flourish. Thank you all. So now we have time for lunch and a few reminders. Somebody will have to remind me what the reminders are. What? Yeah. Phil has one. Zopa has one.
Well, first we would really like to thank and call to mind the crew that has helped set up all the beauty and cleanliness in the hall. Yesterday was amazing, and you could see quite a transformation upstairs and downstairs. So thank you, everyone who helped with that. And I think there's another opportunity this next Tuesday, 10 a.m. Yeah, so this next Tuesday, if you have time, come and help prepare even further for Rinpoche. thank you, everyone who came. Thank you so much.
And Salidra, our glorious membership director, has asked me to remind everyone of the effort to recruit, what a crass word, to encourage everyone to join in as sustaining members of the Sangha. So, there, that's better. Salidra would like me to remind you that there's an effort to encourage everyone to join as sustaining members of the Sangha, and we have added 2 beads to the mala. So there are now 75 sustaining members who have pledged some level, whatever is comfortable for them, but some level of regular support, and whether that's monthly or yearly doesn't really matter. So thank you to those 2 new members.
Yes.
I had a question for Bill. Could you just tell us again what's going on this afternoon?
We'll have Q&A at regular time, or we'll come back at 1:30. I'll say that.
Okay.
I don't promise to allow you to ask